Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim Nakron. Just want to show you this live look, this image off of the coast of Florida. And the reason I'm showing this to you is our weather team has been tracking Idalia, which is now a hurricane, has been upgraded. And it is expected to have some impacts here on Georgia as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about that ahead. But I also just want to address some of the storms that we saw overnight here in Georgia that have caused a lot of damage actually around the state as well. So it's really two major weather stories that we are unfolding, we are following that have been unfolding this morning. These storms that we saw overnight bringing down trees and power lines in many parts of the state. And people are cleaning up, they're assessing the damage left behind. So let's get to my colleague, Atlanta News First reporter Madeline Montgomery, who has more on that.
We're here on Spring Hill Parkway. This road is shut down. We're in front of the Vinings Run subdivision, and just beyond these barriers, you can't see, but at the bottom of the hill, the road is completely washed out in a section, and it's actually a part of the road that goes over a creek, according to maps. We have more video of where this road is closed, but construction workers are telling us that this is not going to be an easy fix, and they expect the road to stay closed through the day as they make repairs, and they do have signs set up far ahead of the closure to make sure drivers in the area take a detour. And there's more damage throughout the metro. In the east part of Atlanta, in the Virginia Highland neighborhood, a fallen tree had Springdale Road, where it meets Ponce, closed off. And we're keeping an eye on the roadways. Let us know if you have storm damage in your area that's significant, so we can make sure everyone is aware of where they need to avoid when they're commuting into work this morning. Reporting in Smyrna, I'm Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
Our thanks to Madeline for that report. We do have a first alert in place for today for more rain, but I want to show you this. Look at this live image right now out of Key West, Florida. Really angry seas, as you can see there. And again, we are tracking Hurricane Idalia. It has been upgraded to a hurricane, and I want to show you some of the video of some of the preparations underway. Because again, and obviously preparations not just in Florida's Gulf Coast, but parts of Georgia as well expected to feel the impact. Because of that, Governor Brian Kemp has directed emergency managers to activate the State Operations Center, and that is where heads of various agencies will monitor the storm's path and put teams in place as they're trying to gauge which areas are going to see the greatest impacts. As for Florida, the governor there has declared a state of emergency ahead of tomorrow morning's projected landfall. Some Floridians really, concerned, but some of them are more confident, of course. Certainly they are preparing for the region to be hit with that hurricane. I want to get to a little bit more about this Home Depot activating a hurricane command center. Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm has more.
It's the first time this hurricane season that the Atlanta-based Home Depot has activated its storm center, and it's already sent more than 100 truckloads of supplies to Florida. Take a look. We're seeing a lot of preparation activity along Florida's Gulf Coast, but parts of Georgia are expected to feel the impact of Idalia as well, and because of that, Governor Brian Kemp has directed emergency managers to activate the State Operations Center. That is where heads of various agencies will monitor the storm's path and put teams in place as they try to gauge which areas will see the greatest impacts. As for Florida, the governor there has declared a state of emergency for much of the state ahead of tomorrow morning's projected landfall. Some Floridians are more confident than others about how that region will withstand the hurricane.
If you prepare for it, then you're ready.
My concern right now is, will my home withstand the storm?
We will continue to monitor Idalia as it continues to gain strength, and we have a team of meteorologists dedicated to keeping you and your family safe. Near Vinings in Cobb County, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
All right, our thanks to Rebecca for that report. Okay, I want to show you this live look. This is over West Palm in Florida. Again, that region preparing for Hurricane Idalia to reach landfall within the next 24 hours. Meteorologist Rodney Harris has been tracking this, of course. So here we got West Palm, here we got Key West. I mean, the ocean looking really angry.
Yes, Joy. So the entire First Alert Weather team tracking this for you. Not only myself, Ella, Jen, Fred, Patrick, but also Courtney and Cutter actually headed south. So Courtney is headed to Florida. Cutter is headed to South Georgia. So we will have comprehensive coverage on this over the next 24 hours. We'll switch over to the active alerts that we have here in Georgia because of Idalia. What you see in purple, that is the biggest concern right now in South Central Georgia. That is a hurricane warning that is in effect. And then the orange that surrounds that for South Georgia is a tropical storm warning that is in effect. And then as you go further north, Savannah is under a tropical storm watch right now. So Savannah all the way up to like Charleston, South Carolina, now under a tropical storm watch. That will likely be upgraded to a tropical storm warning. And these alerts simply mean that tropical storm and hurricane conditions are expected. For the most part in South Georgia, we're looking at tropical storm conditions, which is basically heavy rain and at least a 39-mile-per-hour wind combined. But the small area of South Central Georgia, Valdosta that you see there, that's a hurricane warning, which means they'll see heavy rain and a 74-mile-per-hour wind. So we'll continue to watch that for you very carefully. But those are the active alerts. Idalia is a Category 1 hurricane, was upgraded this morning at 5 o'clock. Winds have increased to 80 miles per hour. Initially, when it was first upgraded to a hurricane, the winds were at 75 miles per hour, already up to 80. And Ella and I have both been looking at the wind or the pressure in it, and the pressure is dropping, and we believe that the wind will respond by going even higher. So today is a day where we are expecting Idalia to continue to strengthen as it moves north through the eastern Gulf of Mexico. You can already see the outer rain bands, that red that you see on that satellite imagery. That's rain that's already starting to impact Florida. And that's important because we're talking about landfall tomorrow, but as you already know, the impacts are felt well before landfall. So that's something that Florida is dealing with right now and will continue to deal with over the next 24 hours. Here is the latest track for Idalia, still expected to make landfall as a major Category 3 hurricane along the Big Bend region of Florida. That'll be Wednesday morning, around 9-ish, give or take, about 30 minutes. But that is what we are forecasting. That's been pretty consistent. And as you can see, one change that we are seeing today compared to yesterday is when Idalia crosses over into South Georgia, it is now expected to still be a Category 1 hurricane. Yesterday, it was a tropical storm moving into South Georgia. Now it's forecast to remain a hurricane, at least when it initially crosses over into Georgia, which is why we have that hurricane warning in South Central Georgia because of the fact that it's still expected to be a hurricane when it initially crosses over, and then it'll weaken to a tropical storm as it heads toward South Carolina. As you can see, the track still is well south and east of Metro Atlanta. We will be impacted from Idalia, but the worst will be south and east of us. And we explained this yesterday, but our showers and storms that we're seeing today and the stuff that we saw yesterday has nothing to do with Idalia. That's because of a stationary front that's parked over us. Those storms are basically firing up along that stationary front. That same front will actually move to the south as a cold front starting tomorrow, and that's really what's going to help to pull Idalia away from us. That cold front is like a blocker in football. Idalia will not go past that cold front, so it'll basically curve toward the east once it runs into that cold front, which is why our impacts won't be as bad in Metro Atlanta as what they are seeing further south and east. So here is the forecast model for Wednesday. Again, the worst of the impacts will be south and east of us, but we will be impacted in the form mainly of more rain in addition to what may be a breezier day tomorrow. So that high resolution forecast model, you can see the outer rain bands will be impacting us throughout the afternoon. So that's something that we're going to be watching. And Ella and I have both been evaluating this. It does now start to look like Putnam County, Jasper County, maybe Oconee County, Greene County, may see some heavier rain. The track for Idalia is a little bit further west, so you can see those yellows and oranges that are starting to creep a little bit further toward the west as well. For Metro Atlanta, we're still just forecasting scattered rain, but as you go further south and east, again in the Edenton, Monticello area, Greensboro, you may see some heavier rain from this. So that's something we're going to watch very carefully. And as you can see, this is happening on Wednesday. By Wednesday night, we're still seeing heavy rain in East Georgia, but that rain will start to pull out as we head toward Wednesday night and Thursday morning. So tomorrow, the day for us will be tomorrow will be the day where we will see our impacts in the form of in Metro Atlanta scattered rain and then heavier rain as you go further south and east. Here's a look at our wind forecast, and again, these are the wind gusts, not the sustained wind. We're still seeing blue in Metro Atlanta and south of Metro Atlanta, which indicate a wind gust of 20 miles per hour. So it might be a little bit breezier than normal, especially as you go south of Atlanta. That orange that you see, that is a tropical storm wind gust of 39 miles per hour. That should stay away from Metro Atlanta. So again, a little bit breezier than normal tomorrow, but not anything out of the ordinary in terms of the wind. So for us in Metro, it really will be just about the rain, which will continue because we've already been seeing the rain. So you'll just see more of that on Wednesday. Here's a look at first alert radar right now. Metro Atlanta is dry. We did get some rain, of course, earlier this morning, but we have dried out. We will see more showers and thunderstorms redevelop this afternoon like the past few days. So here is the latest look at our high resolution forecast model for today. You can see that after 3 o'clock, like yesterday, those storms are just going to fire back up. So watch out for that as you're driving home from work, or if you have any dinner plans tonight, you will have to dodge storms. I'll also point out that like yesterday, some isolated severe thunderstorms will also be possible. So there's a lot going on here over the next 24 hours. Our storms today, and then we'll be tracking Idalia on Wednesday as it makes landfall and gives us a little bit more rain. Just in case you're wondering, we are still looking at drier weather as we head toward your Labor Day weekend. So even though we have a first alert today for rain, and the rain will continue on Wednesday, by the time you get to Labor Day weekend, it'll be dry. Temperature's going to cool off by the end of the week, so much better weather to come for us in Metro Atlanta this weekend. But until then, we got to get you through this first alert today in coverage of Idalia, which we will continue to have comprehensive coverage on Atlanta News First and on our social channels. So make sure and keep up to date. And First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez will have an updated forecast for you coming up at noon on Atlanta News First. We hope you have an amazing Tuesday, and until next time, we'll see you soon.